So, we are talking about the topic globalization today. So, what is globalization? The definition of globalization could be globalization is the increasing interconnectedness and interdependence of countries through the exchange of goods, services, capital, information, and ideas. So, while there is globalization, there must be some global interconnectedness. And through these interconnectedness, we'll have more interaction between each country and each culture and each group of people more easily and more aptly. Key features. Interconnectedness. Globalization fosters global networks and linkages across borders. The way I told, we'll have more interaction among more group of people, variant group of peoples, more easily and more apt. More easily in the sense that it will be easier to connect to the outer world for us while there is globalization. And apart from that, more aptly means we'll be interacting in a more apt manner because while we're interacting with other groups of people or other variant groups of people or other countries people will have more idea about their culture, more about idea about their economy, more idea about their choices, likes, dislikes, and all that. So we'll be able to connect with them in a more apt manner so that we have a more inclusive approach towards mixing with the global people or the people of variant races and cultures. Free trade in this generation or in this era is a term called free trade which promotes liberalization of trade and investment barriers leading to increased international trade. So in this era which we are living at the moment, we have to make international trade or foreign trade in order to boost our economy, and for that free trade is needed. Suppose we are exporting more and importing less, that will mean that our economy is healthy, and you are importing more and exporting less, that will mean that more of money from our country is draining. Hence, obviously, export is more needed than import. That is a different topic. Let it be apart for the moment. But what I'm telling is like international trade is highly necessary at this time, and there's something called preferential treatment. We have to give some preferential treatment to some countries with whom we have a trade bond or a business bond which is more suitable and stronger than that of the other countries, and where we find more ease and advantages. We have to have some free trade in order to enhance the trading relationships with that country. Apart from that, multinational corporations, MNCs, driven by globalizations, MNCs operate globally, expanding their presence and influence. We have a term called MNC or multinational company, the companies which operate all around the world. Suppose there is a company like IBM or Microsoft, which is based in a foreign country, but they are operating in India, or suppose an Indian company like Reliance or TCS, they have their sub zonal offices or sub offices all around the world, mm, in order to operate throughout the globe. That is called an MNC or multinational company. Suppose their headquarters is in Mumbai or somewhere in India, and their sub zonal offices or sub offices is in some other country in order to operate the operations in that country, and they have their presence all over the globe, then that is an MNC. And this way they are operating all around the world, enhancing the economy of the globe as well as the mother country where they exist as well. Cultural exchange. Globalization facilitates the exchange of cultures, languages, and ideas, leading to cultural homogenization or hybridization. Suppose the Britishers came to India once upon a time, and they have injected this language called English into us, which we value so much. In order to communicate globally, we need to use English. That's how the English people have spread their language all over the world. That is how the global interconnectedness has increased. English is the main language all over the world in order to communicate these days. Apart from that, we know Chinese, we know Japanese, we know German, French, and all that. This is through the process of globalization that we are more connected to the world, and we are more accustomed to the foreign languages. There are multilinguists and bilinguists and trilinguists, all these type of people are there. It is the product of globalization, you can say. Technology advancements. Advances in communication and transportation technology accelerate globalization by reducing distance and time barriers. These IT technologies and communication technologies mm, have improved so much that there is Facebook, there is WhatsApp, there is multiple communicating apps such as Telegram. We can communicate our messages to a far off place. Like suppose I'm here and I'm communicating a message to a person living in US to Telegram or WhatsApp. It will take a second to reach there, and that's how we can communicate so easily amongst various countries without any such fees or high fees being incurred upon us. Impacts economic growth. Globalization can lead to increased economic growth and development by leveraging comparative advantages and facilitating capital flows. This you know that globalization can lead to economic growth by various ways or manifold ways, like leveraging comparative advantages and facilitating capital flows. This way, job creation and innovation creates opportunities for job creation, innovation, and knowledge sharing. Suppose there is a company or an MNC which is US based and operating in India. They have many zonal offices, suppose in Kolkata, in Mumbai, in Delhi, in Bangalore, in all these places, and they have their staffs from India. So what is happening? It is leading to some sort of employment or a large sort of employment by their presence in India, though their motherland is US, or their mother um, office is in USA. Income inequality can exacerbate income inequality within and between countries due to unequal distribution of benefits and opportunities. This thing can happen. Suppose there is a company which is having its mother country as India, and it is operating somewhere in Bangladesh. So while they are operating in their motherland, they are giving more salaries, and while they are operating in Bangladesh, they are giving less salaries because it's a less developed country. That could lead to something like inequality or income inequality, this type of thing. Cultural homogenization. Critics argue that globalization can erode local cultures and traditions, leading to cultural homogenization or Americanization. So what we can see now, that many people who are more educated pretend to be more Westerners than Indians. This is the product of cultural homogenization due to their influence of education, the education they have got, due to the influence of their education and all that, combined with all that, they pretend to be more Westerners than Indians, and they try to erode the indigenous culture and prefer more of the Western culture than the indigenous culture that is present or inherited by their racial fellows.